there are so many things that I could possibly talk about. And I think the last video I've been out of practice, so I was sort of like rambling on, and it doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is that there are many topics that I'm always thinking, oh, I can make a video on that. Oh, I can make a video on what I just found out now. Or I can make a video on what I've already found out about something, but now I know it to a further extent. So the thing that I wanted to talk about now is vibes. And I really don't think the church really talks about vibes that much. Cheers. There's a baby crying in the background. I'm sure they're all right. So the vibes are a thing here. Spiritual teachers will tell you it's about vibrations, but I think of it in terms of God and in terms of hip-hop music, really. Because if we're talking in terms of like the pop culture, we're gonna use the word vibe a lot, right? Now, I'm on this side of the railroad track. Now, the side that I'm on is very godly. But let's let you decide what is more godly. Is it this side, like I said? Or is it this side right here? This is the other side of the railroad track. So the vibe of the railroad track I was just on, I said is very with Jesus, right? Now this side, look at it. First of all, this side, if you take it this side, now you just think of it for yourself, whatever. Be your own expert, make your own judgment, but I'm telling you that this is what God told me. He said this side is God, and this side is the devil. And it's weird. Port Hueneme is a very spiritual place. Lots of things have happened for me here. Lots of things to see on the external. Lots of things that I've figured out on the internal. So it's just been a crazy place. I recommend it. Like if you haven't, my nose got crazy. It doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is that come to Port Hueneme whenever you can, 10 years from now. Tomorrow, whenever. I think it's a good place for someone to experience, even just for like a week. I just met a couple people actually on the beach. They're here for a week from Florida, and they're gonna have a good time because I've had a good time. I've had some weird times. I've had a good time. So this is the devil side, this is the God side, and this is one of the things that, look at what God's doing. He does this with things. He'll like take things that you see outside and he'll split them in half, and he'll show you the half and half, the dark and the light. He'll do that. And it goes along with the toy concept. This is toy railroad, and then if you take that railroad down, if you take this part of it down, the devil side that I call the devil, maybe you have some other opinions, then you'll get to the park, and the park has some weird spirits in it. It's called Miranda Park, but I've made some videos in one part of Miranda Park, which is almost like near the town center. That part's fine. That part's fine because it's more like where the town center is. For some reason, the town center has decent energy. Now, but if you go into the heart of Miranda Park, like in where the basketball courts are and everything, down there, you can take to get to the park, you can go down there. Let's not even go down there. Let's not mess with the devil. We don't mess with that. We're gonna go back. Where I want to vibe over here. You can tell. Look at it. You can tell. Now, I'm not just saying it because it's bright and palm tree-ish. Maybe I am. Maybe it's very obvious. There are some halves and halves where it's not so obvious with this, but like where it's like, okay, that's definitely God. Like sometimes, honestly, the more stuff with street too. The more stuff with street. If you look that way, there's more nature. It's all nature and sort of like, it's to fool you. Like someone who's stuck in the universe, not with God, might tell you, oh, look how beautiful that path is. And it is. It's still God. There's a devil in the God. But this is a way to see it externally. And if you can't see it, then I'm telling you. And I know everything about this. And this goes along with the toys. The toy realization. Because God plays with his toys out here. So a lot of people can feel God by going within and meditating. A lot of Christians, a lot of Bible readers, a lot of church seekers, a lot of Jesus followers, you know, they meditate. A lot of people stuck in the universe that don't believe in a true God also meditate, but they're gonna meditate over there. I'm gonna meditate maybe a little bit over here. But my meditation, for the most part, guys, now, and you could choose which one you like, because everyone does things differently. There's different learning methods. There's different things you can do in this life that are easier for you, whatever. You know, there's different tactics. And I think toys is a new way to do it externally. All you have to do is look at toys. There's a couple ways to do it, if you'd like to listen to this, where as far as like meditating and using the toys. You could either just stare at a toy and see how long you can focus. I'm honestly not even good at this stuff. Like, I'm not really good at focusing. I'm so creative and crazy, and I always have like things going on, especially, you know, if you've been following me for a little while now on Instagram and YouTube, you notice I'm writing just a lot of material. I have so much more material too. You know, it's just crazy. So for me, I'm just doing that because it's like, all right, it's pouring out of me. But no, there are times where I'm like, no, let's get still. So you could stare at a toy, but you can also go between toys. Check it out. If I take both sides of the railroad track, right? Both sides. And I go between the two sides of the railroad track with my eyes back and forth. Keeping the head still. You could move the head. You could move the head too, but you could keep your head still and just do it with your eyes now. So you're using the toys. You're going from a toy to a toy. You're going from a rail to another rail. You could take these two trees, whatever, there's a million trees out here. You could go between, you could find a grid, like a lot of tarot card readers and crystal people, because I used to do crystals and tarot, right? I don't do that anymore. I outgrew it when I started getting more with the Lord. And like, no, I just didn't want to do it anymore really too. But you'll hear about like crystal grids and like setting it up. And this grid concept can actually be used in life in general. So for example, like moving your furniture around and making a new quote unquote grid. But anyway, with the toy situation, if you take a grid of 3 trees, say it's a triangle of trees, 1, 2, 3, right? You go between boom, 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 boom. You go, but how long can you do it for? It's actually quite challenging. If you've never tried it, it doesn't matter. It's challenging for me, maybe not for you. Maybe you'll be. And then all of a sudden, these type of methods going between the toys, either staring at 1, going between 2, 3, you could do 4. You could find on that song I wrote, "The Church is Slow," I talk about straight lines. Show the straight line method. So this rail is a straight line. You can stare at this toy rail up and down the straight line, up and down the line. If you do this, long enough, you may notice that you start sort of rolling. I've never done any hard drugs, but I've heard people talk about that do, you know, whatever they do. Sort of like rolling trip or something. Now, no, I've done the ayahuasca thing, but no, this will make you sort of like moving, it'll make you move forward, staring up and down a line. So very close, far, very close, far. It makes your perception change in a way, because your mind won't be thinking so much. You'll be so wrapped up in the forwardness, basically. Now, another way that I'll explain, the last thing I'll do is on this rail, I'm using this railroad for a reason, because it's so damn straight, right? It's so damn straight, even the devil side, so damn, it's whatever, we use both. So let's go from God to devil, back and forth. We're using the toy God and toy devil sides. And now we'll do this. You're seeing the railroad on both sides, and it's extremely straight, because that's how this part of the railroad is. It's not a curved part of the railroad. So I'm gonna go back and forth. And when you do this, I forget to breathe sometimes. You breathe with it. Now, not only is this good for your neck, but it will also give you that rolling effect. It'll give you that forward moving, creative, sort of like, I've used this tactic for a lot of reasons. Like, for example, like sometimes I want to play for people, and sometimes maybe I need some money, or sometimes I want to get some food for free, or no, I'm saying God has been talking to me about these tactics, and he told me to make a little video on this. So basically what I'm saying is you can get some things out here by getting more in the moment and getting, like, you can attract them, and you can do it quickly. You can, with these methods, the straight line method, straight lines, show the pay, whatever. That's one of the ways. This railroad is the straight line, but you can take a line on a, you can take a line on a regular street, like street lines, or take a palm tree and go up and down the palm tree, you know, up and down. Just find a line. It could be vertical, horizontal, shorter lines, like tiny little lines. Like if you take the thread of a hat, like the hat I'm wearing, there's threads. Take a little thread, that's a tiny little line. See how long, like go up close to it with your eye. It's crazy, it's kind of painful. You go back and forth on this little teeny weeny line, and that'll even get you more, because the moment is very small. The moment is very small, right? Very, very small. We can't see it, but the tinier we can, the little lines, that's almost like a moment. It's like when a string vibrates on a stringed instrument. It goes very, very fast. And so those are tiny little moments there. So there's a lot of methods. There's other methods that people have, like you get a glass of water and you put some dye. I met this lady one time in upstate New York. She was telling me about this method. You get a dye, you put it in the water, and you just watch the dye sort of like coloring dye, blue, red, whatever, for artists or whatever. You watch it. You watch something. If you see a tiny little animal and you catch it, right, or something, watch that animal for a while. And that's exactly what's happening now. But yeah, this is really cool. This one, once again, this one's really cool. Back and forth between the railroad track, because it's so straight on both ways. Looking up and down, and then finding grids. Basically finding grids. That's 12 minutes almost, so I think we'll leave it at that. And I just want to share that. Cheers. Have a great day. I just posted a new video also, a new song that I completed called Toy Money, and some other one, whatever. I post all the time, doesn't matter. All right, guys, God bless. See you guys.